Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. If you love this watch, reach out to tmosso@the1916company.com. And what we're looking at here today is a late 2022 launch for the 2023 model year from Mathey Tissot and Massena Lab. We have a 99-piece Type 20 tribute chronograph. Now, the original Type 20 was a 1954 response to a French military aviation contract calling for a Type 20 chronograph. So several manufacturers built the Type 20. And of course, Breguet is the best remembered, but as Breguet was the supplier to the French military, Mathey Tissot was the supplier of the watches to Breguet. So this is a very traditional take on the original watch with the name and signature of the actual original manufacturer. The watch is based on a timepiece owned by collector and designer William Massena, who is the Massena behind the American Massena Lab design program. And of course, this watch is in collaboration with the modern revival of Mathey Tissot. So the watch in steel, 38.5 millimeters in diameter, 14.9 millimeters thick, and 45.5 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. Spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters. And if you are thinking that looks like a plexiglass, you are absolutely right. It is a true thermoplastic crystal. We have an aviator style raw leather strap, and you can see it's more traditionally finished on the bottom, but it's very rustic on the top, giving a rugged seat of the pants aviator type feel to the watch. We have a contrasting binding stitch with a little bit of an off-white coloration to give us that simulated patina. And it's a very thick cut of leather. You can see it's been cut and lacquered in profile. And then on the bottom, Mathey Tissot with logo to match. So if you're wondering why there's a peace sign on the crown, that should explain that. The buckle right here is a pin buckle, a simple one, with a combination of satin and polish and Mathey Tissot branding. On the reverse, you can see the name of Massena Lab, and this is 59 of 99, Type 20. It is a watch with a simple vintage aesthetic to it, being manual wind with a bubble sapphire, no date dial, and syringe hands. We'll put it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. You can see it's kind of squat in profile on the wrist. I would say more than anything else, it wears like a first generation a lange und söhne datograph. That's how it feels. And it is, however, thin enough with that dramatically domed crystal to fit underneath a jacket cuff. So if you want to wear this formally, you're good to go. Maybe not French cuffs or tight sleeves, but a jacket sleeve, absolutely. You can see from over the top, which always exaggerates the width of the watch, and I'm pulling it tight here. The lugs are still not over the edge of my wrist. Now, when you look down the barrel, which is the definitive angle, you can really see that those lugs are pretty far inboard on both sides. So that's 45.5 millimeters across. I'm going to recommend this for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Taking a look at the case, very simple, blended, integrated lugs. We've got some polished elements, satin finish and profile. The bezel, which has a micro knurling, has no detent or click. It's almost like a Norglide Teflon style bearing. It moves smoothly and seamlessly in both directions. It is calibrated to 12 hours, so this is an aviator's style bezel, not a dive bezel. You can line it up with the minute hand, you can line it up with the hour hand. Taking a quick look at the watch in the dark, we'll take a look at how it glows, and it glows nicely. You could see, happily, that both the time and the chronograph functions are luminescent, and we've got a historically inflected 15-minute big eye style counter. You can see how the minute counter at 3 o'clock is bigger than the running seconds over at 9 o'clock. That is a big eye style design. Again, taking a look in the dark, easy to read, very agreeable. The watch does feature a hacking or stop seconds function. The dial has a lovely tobacco brown and I would describe this as a sort of radioactive luminescent patina. Basically, William's watch had acquired the marks of ages, and this is a very true tribute to his watch, including the colors, the shades, the tones, and the textures. The white varnished hands are beautiful. This has a high degree of legibility day or night, so it's primary function as a timekeeper. It's not just a nostalgia kick. It really is quite easy to read. Now, okay, underneath the case back, we have a manual wind variant of the immortal 7750 architecture. This is actually made by Sellita. It is the Sellita SW511 MBH, which is a manual wind version of Sellita's equivalent to the 7750. So happily, it has 63 hours of power reserve versus a standard 7750's 42. It does feature the stop seconds functional. This pivots on 23 joules, and it features a very crisp cam-based operation, also because it has an oscillating pinion lateral clutch. Oscillating pinions are a sort of old-school type of precision lateral clutch that have almost no play in their engagement. So unlike a standard lateral clutch, where you'll see quite a bit of seconds hand jump when you start the chrono, with an oscillating pinion, there is very little of that, which is why a lot of high-end brands like Richard Mille, de Bethune, and F. Pigeon have recently reacquired the oscillating pinion for use in lateral clutch chronographs. So that's exactly what we have right here, and that's just germane to every 7750. They all have the oscillating pinion. It's just not commonly acknowledged. The watch is water-resistant down to 30 meters, so it is a true aviator's watch in that sense. You don't want to go swimming with it. It's got that lovely French Ministry of Defense look from the mid-50s, albeit aged over eons in a collector's safe and on his wrist. A wonderful tribute to the way we were, and perhaps the way we may yet be, because this could be your watch. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.